Okay, let's get into this.
All right, so I'm going to offer probably an unpopular opinion to some regarding these Epstein files and this list or the names or whatever. So first and foremost, let's cut the bullshit. If Donald Trump was complicit in all this, we would have known this years ago. For everything that the Democrats have done to this guy, and if in fact his name was, I know he's associated with Epstein, but if he was actually taking part in these grotesque acts with these young girls, we would have known about this years ago.
Pause. I like how this particular gentleman says we would have known about all of this years ago, and then references the fact that we've known about this for years because he was an associate of Jeffrey Epstein for years. We have known about this for years. We've known that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were associates for 40 fucking years. We've known about this. You guys have known about this. You just choose to look the other way. Had he taken part in these grotesque acts, had he been this way, we'd have known about it. You haven't seen his pedophilic behavior. You haven't seen the fact that he bragged about walking into a teenage beauty pageant's dressing room so he could see teenage girls naked. You haven't seen him talk about an 8-year-old girl going up an escalator talking about when he was going to begin dating her. You haven't seen or heard all of the allegations over the years of the shit that he's done. You haven't heard him talk about how much he wanted to fuck his own daughter while she was a child. You haven't seen any of this because we've all seen it for years, but you haven't seen it, huh? Okay.
We would have known about this years ago. All right, so for anybody out there who actually thinks there's a chicken dick's chance in hell that Donald Trump took part in these acts, okay, I'm sorry, but you're nuts. Okay, you're wishful thinking at its finest. The second thing is
pause. There is no wishful thinking. I don't understand what it is with you guys with the way you word this. Nobody wishes children got raped. Nobody. Hey, we know that that's what you guys would do. You guys would hope that there would be a child out there harmed at the hands of a Democrat so that you could go, look, a Democrat. There is no wishful thinking. My wish is that none of this shit ever happened. Proceed.
The thing is for those on the left that say that the Republicans are trying to basically hold these files for ransom and they are blocking them from getting released. I don't want to have to remind you guys that Joe Biden and the Biden administration for 4 years had the opportunity to get these things released, to get these files unsealed. Did he do it? No.
Pause. Here we go. He just said, I know you guys on the left are saying that Republicans are blocking the release, but Joe Biden could have put this information out. So, first of all, that's called whataboutism. Secondly, what little bit we do have from the Epstein files was released by the Biden administration and no other administration. Next, most of those files were under court-ordered seal while court cases were going through the system, which is why they couldn't be released. But let's go to the heart of what we started with. I know you guys on the left are saying it's Republicans that are trying to block the release of these files because it's Republicans that are trying to block the release of these files. There is currently a petition to get these files, to get a vote on the floor to release these files. Not even to release the files, just to get a fucking vote on it. And it needs 218 people to sign on to it in the House of Representatives. All 215 Democrats have signed on to it. All 215 Democrats have said, yes, let's go ahead and at least have a vote so that we can see how many people want and don't want these files released. Massey, Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and one other Republican are the only 4 Republicans that have signed on to this petition so far, which is why the petition currently sits at 215 and can't hit the 218 it takes to actually get a floor vote. The only people that are blocking the release of the Epstein files are Republicans. They're the only ones. As a matter of fact, the Republicans who have the White House, the House of Representatives and the Senate are the only people that can vote with enough numbers to actually get this stuff released. If the Republicans wanted it out, they could do it today. They're actively blocking it. That's why we say that. Because that's reality. Nice whataboutism going back to Biden, though. Proceed.
I also want to remind you guys, Chuck Schumer, about a month and a half ago, was specifically asked about this, and he essentially just completely dodged the question, avoided it. So it's obvious to me, and it's obvious to most people with common sense, that this is not a Democrat issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is an issue of, you're going to have very, very wealthy people who have donated a lot of money to both the Republican and the Democratic Party who are going to be named on this list or in these files. And so to put this all on the Republicans, put this all on Trump, all right, this is just another talking point from the Democrats. And last thing I want to remind you all is something I was taught very young, is if you actually have to hope and wish for the demise and the failure of an individual, that speaks more on the character of you versus them. So I want that to get out there to some of you, because I think some of you, well, not some of you, a lot of people, a lot of you need a very healthy reminder of what that actually means.
It is all on Republicans. Once again, it's only Republicans that are blocking the release of this. Every Democrat has signed on to release it. Every Democrat, no matter who's on the list, whether it be Bill Clinton or some Democratic donor or some Republican member of office, it doesn't matter. Every single Democrat has signed on to release it. 4 Republicans have signed on to release it. The Republicans have the majority in both chambers and the White House. They could literally pass this in one day. A single page bill, release the Epstein files, put it on the floor for a vote. All 215 Democrats would vote for it. If you say Republicans want it out, one would imagine it would be a unanimous vote, and then the president would sign it. We would get the files. Even if he didn't sign it and vetoed it, we'd have a veto-proof majority. But we don't, because Republicans are blocking it. And you end with, if you hope for the demise of a human being, if Donald Trump is in these files, which it seems more and more likely that he is, then yeah, I want his demise. If Donald Trump had intercourse with children against their will, I want him to have demise. If Donald Trump raped little girls, I want to see his demise. Wouldn't you?